Good morning, guys. I hope you guys are having a great day. Well, SPX just want to go over some levels today, right? And guys, can somebody just type in on Discord? You guys can see me because I'm unable to see myself here. Please just confirm in Discord that yes, you guys are able to see me. Thank you, just so I know. And but SPX just some levels. I'm gonna go over SPX. Then I wanna go over Twitter also, the potential on Twitter, right? SPX yesterday, guys. It's very hard to scalp a move like this. It's very hard. Congrats to Kimani, Platinum Stacks. You guys win some calls. You guys caught this move. Amazing. But when a stock does not have a lot of volatility in between, or if it just grinds higher slowly, it's very hard to scalp for me, right? Because for me, it was in no man's land. I did not want to put some micro levels here. Thanks, G Money. I did not want to put some micro levels here and then scalp based on those. I'd rather have the big levels from the gamma where a lot of option interest lies down. Right, that's where usually a stock, the price, there's a good rejection at first test, and you can catch the downside move, right? So that's the reason I wait. I'm very patient on SPX, and the hit rate on SPX when I play my SPY options is very high for me personally, at least, right? The accuracy is high. Once in a while, rarely I'm wrong. That's when something comes out, it's just straight through. For that, I can't help it. Obviously, I don't know what's gonna happen in the next 5 minutes, but waiting for the right levels, I think, has increased my profitability a lot in the last few months, right? So SPX, some levels that I do want to go over, and that's where the more patience you practice, the better it is. These are the new levels for today for gamma, which I inserted, put them in, right? They come in automatically, but I do want to look at this zone right here, which happens to be roughly the 4600 zone for me to take my first short. So SPX, some few things. Number one, above 4500, nothing but bullish. All right, for now. The day we break 4500, we close below, then we'll see how much negative gamma comes in, what's the positioning of puts. But for now, above 4500, as long as we hold above 4500, is nothing but the market is bullish stance. All right, so we can even dance around these levels and let's see what happens. Now 4600 is strong wall. If we get through 4600, 4650 is even stronger. All right, so in overall, I think above 4650, if we get, then all-time highs are possible. Then we cannot factor that out back out. All right, and so let's see what happens. But 4600 is a very strong resistance. We need to hold above 4600, not just go above it, but go above it, hold, and then we see how 4650 acts. Maybe they take it to 4650, even all the way towards 4700 near all-time highs, and then we see what happens. All right, so just keep these options open. But for now, we are in no man's land. I'm not in no rush to play something long just yet. If stocks go higher, let them go higher. I'll catch them at a higher price. I don't need to, like LB said, a beautiful sentence yesterday, I'm just trying to grab a little piece of the meat when I know that I need to grab it. It's time for me to strike, right? I don't need to be early because I'm trading options. In equities, when Amazon was at 2700, Google was 2700, did they add some very tiny portion? Yes, I added to them. I scaled in, so not even though I was bearish at that time, but I still scaled in some equity as alerted in the channel. All right, but for now, let's see what happens. And then in the longer time frames, I do still believe maybe this year, or I'm pretty sure this year sometime, I hope, right? I think it will be good for the market. In the long run, it will be really good for the market. We just don't want this keep going up, because in the coming years, it will be more dangerous then. That's just how I see it. I may be wrong, but I still do believe that we get this zone. When do we get it? That I don't know, but I still believe that this zone right here happens, and it will be an opportunity to really load up on some cheap equities, right? At that time, they might not be cheap, or maybe they might be higher, but there will be some sort of shenanigans in the market where we can probably catch this dip, and then we see what happens, right? And this is where I will probably add, for the first time in my life, I will buy SPY equity index. For the first time, I will buy SPY shares just for my long-term hold if we do get this level right here. But for now, on the monthly, everything looks great, it's bullish, but what happens in June, July, August, let's see, let's wait and watch. Don't count out these oil spikes, this inflation, don't count it out yet. The effect of this is going to be in a few months, not instant. All right, the effects of this is going to come in July, August, September. All right, and when the yield curve usually inverts, it's not instant. It usually takes effect after 1 year. All right, so let's see what happens then. But for now, market is giving us love, so I guess take advantage of it, right? So let's play, let's keep our options open, stay open-minded, and we play the market what it gives us. So for now, as long as we're above 4500, we're bullish, right? And then the volatility trigger happens to be 4500 today. So if we do retest 4500, I think it's a great place to buy scalps for a 15-20 point move on SPX to the upside. All right. Another thing that I do want to mention that there's not a lot of put buying going on right now. So if the market, if they decide to drop it, there will not be any warning. Just keep that open. Everyone's bullish right now. Nobody wants to be bearish. It's not about being bearish. It's about being open-minded and knowing things. Below 4,500 for 200 points, there is no support. Don't count that out yet. Don't just look one way. That's all I'm gonna say. Look both ways. All right. And then Twitter. So this name yesterday, for the first time, it held gains, right? And now one thing that we need to understand, Elon Musk, he moves markets. We all know that. We know what he's done with Tesla, right? More than Twitter, you're betting on Elon Musk right here. Yesterday when Twitter was here, it recovered 50, and then it held up the gains. That was a very positive sign. Usually Twitter on gappos is very bad at holding gains. For the first time, Twitter held up gains because a lot of people probably covered their Twitter just because Elon Musk bought the stake, right? The company may do shit. They might even go in a loss this quarter, who knows? But they're going to buy this for Elon Musk. Just understand this, all right? So Twitter now, what happened yesterday when they were holding up, going up, a lot of IV increased. I just checked options delta this morning. My June 2023 70 calls delta is at 51 cents, right? That's $20 out of the money, and the delta is 50 cents. That's insane, right? So let's see what happens there. But Twitter, as long as we continue holding above 50, and if it gets 56 by any chance, this name can see, if this gets 56, 60, 65, and 70 will be so fast, right? This could be a repeat. This could be a meme stock now. I think it can turn into one of those, I believe. And let's see what happens. But just keep an eye on this name. If we do start flagging here, and it starts going slowly up in these green candles, I'm just going to draw something here for you. If this starts going up like this, I don't know if it's going to do this, but if it does something like this, so a green candle comes here, let's say for example, another small green candle right here, and then another tiny small green candle, what's going to happen next? A $10-15 move on Twitter is going to happen. If we form this pattern on the green candles, then Twitter is probably going to have a $10-15 day, right? And why is that going to happen? Let's see how it forms for the next 3-4 days. If we start going up slowly here, Twitter will have a $10-15 day, right? Let's see. That's a big statement that I'm making, but it's a possibility from the past or from historical what's happened with other stocks. So if the same structure holds, that's what's going to happen with Twitter. Now, another thing that you want to keep in mind, if Twitter makes one red candle and we take below the lows of yesterday, or we hold below 50, all these calls are going to lose premium so fast. If somebody buys them, it's going to be painful. So how do you play Twitter here? I would highly suggest, if you want to play Twitter, I'm not buying any Twitter position here. I'm already positioned in it. I already have my leaves, right? They're looking great now. Again, I'm back from the dead basically. So they're looking good. But Twitter, I would recommend vertical call spreads, right? If you're trying to play Twitter, maybe 3-4 months out, your return here is capped by max profits, obviously, because if Twitter does squeeze, right? And but the only good thing here is if Twitter stalls or something happens, these will not lose much value compared to the calls. So these are more risk-free than calls alone, right? So you would buy one call, maybe a $55 call, and sell the 65s maybe, right, or 60s, and then you see what happens. All right. Thanks, LP. So that's how I would play Twitter. Another name to keep an eye on is PayPal. Bullish structures are forming on this name. All right, I've been watching options very closely on this name for the last 3 weeks almost, right? I've been watching it like a hawk every day. Keep an eye on this name. If the data is right, this should make a $10-20 move from these levels fast. All right. The only thing is tomorrow we have Fed, so into Wednesday, if we hold, right? Sorry about my writing here, but so we have Fed tomorrow, right? And then we see what happens. And so post Fed, if Twitter is holding above this 122, 123 levels, I might take some vertical call spreads to the long side. Because tomorrow Fed, if they come more than 0.5%, if this is 0.75 or anything like this, the market is going to dump, right? As long as they stay below half, I think we should be fine. But again, next Monday will be the real move, and then obviously we have a monthly OPEX as well. But PayPal is one name I do want to keep an eye on it. Ram, if you're listening, I know you bought PayPal, so that's great. I think it's going to do good, but again, let's see what happens into tomorrow. As long as we hold these levels, I think PayPal has a long way to go. Square looking great, already recovered gains after the Apple news, and this is very bullish on Square. This looks really good, and as long as we continue holding above these levels now, right? Okay, so I did some analysis on this. So as long as we hold above these levels right here, this name can make a big move towards 180, 200 on Square. So SQ, keep an eye on this, all right? Where Nvidia also has some good flow on options yesterday. So do keep an eye on Nvidia as well. All right, and we need some strength from chip sector, obviously. And currently, we're just trying to hold near this zone right here, right? So let's see how this acts. As long as we hold above this, we can see 290 and 300 on Nvidia. Now, my statement that I'm giving out right now are bullish, but does that mean I'm gonna jump and buy calls right now? Hell no. Maybe I'll be the first one to buy puts on Nvidia. The thing here is to understand, let the Fed pass tomorrow, be patient, and if the move happens here, we play to the upside, right? I am okay catching Nvidia above 300 on options if I need to, right? Because I'm trying to catch a confirmed move, not a guessed move. All right, just keep that in mind. Amazon, somebody, I forgot who it was. Yeah, Amazon right here. If you look at the weekly chart, right? Can this be the bottom? Can this absolutely rip from here and you can buy options here and you can be at the bottom? Absolutely. Are you gonna hold a $20 option once say it hits 40, 50? Just ask yourself. Are you gonna hold it when it hits 100 maybe, and you think that it goes to 4,000, you would have made all this money? You're likely not going to hold your option anyways. You're probably gonna sell it for $1 or something, right? In most cases. But Amazon right here is at a very strong resistance point, right? SPX is also at a very strong resistance point. Don't count out that if we reject at these levels tomorrow, if something happens, then these are going to be the first ones down as well. Don't count those factors. So I am more interested in Amazon holding these levels, right? Showing more strength and holding it here, maybe building a bull flag here. And when I see my technical chart, then I will play this to the upside and I will actually catch a very good move. I'll put some strategies on and whatnot. That's just my opinion. Now, am I saying you shouldn't buy? No. You do what you think is going to happen. I could be absolutely wrong. Maybe you catch this great move, it's going to go up. So trust your process, trust your thoughts, and work on them, right? AMD, I did not see nothing on this yesterday, but I do like the pattern here. It's been holding. It looks like a bear flag. It might not be a bear flag, maybe a wedge, right? So maybe something like this. On this is possible, right? So keep an eye on AMD. This can absolutely make a big move towards 130, 140 if the market holds, right? So as long as 110 is the key, and if I was to buy AMD, I would buy maybe 12 to 15 weeks out, 130, 135 calls. If they work, great. If they don't, in case the market fails, I simply stop out. Mara, keep an eye on Marathon. Mara, I think on Bitcoin's trend, this looks good, and they announced something yesterday if somebody buys them at the right price or something, so I'm not sure. But the stock is holding up well, and yesterday I did see some flow into it. And Mara, I'm keeping a close eye on, and this can actually have a $2-3 move to the upside from these levels. And Mara options move really well to the upside and to the downside as well. All right, so you want to make sure that your position sizing is right if you're looking to buy these names. All right, because everything right now is pointing to the upside, looks great, but don't count out the down factor also. All right, so position sizing has to be correct. Riot also same thing, similar pattern. So as long as Bitcoin shows strength, we can go up strong. And BTC, let's just go over the Bitcoin chart, right? Nice little bull flag, and if we break above this and we go higher than Mara and Riot, I think they will rip. Right, Mara can have a huge move technically. If Bitcoin rips above 48, goes towards 50, Mara will probably be up 10-15% on equity alone. All right, and then vice versa, if it fails here, it can go down as well. So tomorrow is very important. So tomorrow, here's what's going to happen. Either we start a nice little uptrend into OPEX, right? We go a little bit higher, right? Or after tomorrow, we're either going to form this, right? Head and shoulder pattern. Don't count this out. We probably go out. Something like this might happen, and then maybe in the coming weeks we go lower. Or we flag here, we go towards 4,700, we see what happens, and then maybe we just stay in this choppy range. All right. SPY can go towards all-time highs. This is another scenario. It can actually go all-time highs. It can even go higher and then come visit the lows. That is also possible, right? I'm gonna show you one chart. Amazon on the weekly, if you look at it, right? So SPY can do something like this also. It can go all-time highs and then do this in the coming 1 year. In 2022, 2023, SPY can still be trading at 4,500. Don't count these factors out. Go historically, see how the price action moves. All right. God bless. Manage your size, manage your positions. Carlos, XLE, okay, since you asked. XLE energy is strong, and this is also scary. If XLE holds strong and continues going up, then be careful, right? Because that's energy stocks, but like the oil and stuff, and see what happens there, right? XLE is holding well, and as long as we go above these levels, I would say 79, 80, and we hold above it, this can squeeze. But for now, it's actually holding pretty well. So just keep these things in mind, guys. Keep these things in mind, right? So it's actually the sector is breaking out. So let's see how the month closes on XLE, but I think it looks good, and it can continue running, and let's see what happens. Thank you. Manage size. Position sizing is the biggest tip anyone can give you in the stock market.